So I'd like to take a closer look in this video into IBM's patent titled Method and System for a Runtime User Account Creation Operation with a Single Sign-On Process in a Federated Computing Environment. So this patent is regarding the single sign-on technology that was mentioned in my post from last week. So in this post, I'm going to examine the first claim of the patent in greater detail to gain a better understanding of what the patent is about. So the first section of the claim says, a method for managing user authentication within a distributed data processing system wherein a first system and a second system interact with a federated computing environment and support single sign-on operations in order to provide access to protected resources, at least one of the first system and second system comprising a processor, the method comprising. And then, so I think this first chunk of the claim really discusses the method for user authentication with connecting one service to another to allow an account login and describing the process for how the two systems link with one another. And the second chunk of the claim says, triggering a single sign-on operation on behalf of the user in order to obtain access to a protected resource that is hosted by the second system, wherein the second system requires a user account for the user to complete the single sign-on operation prior to providing access to the protected resource. So the second chunk, I think, really goes into detail to delineate how the second system that is linked to the first system also requires user account information in order to allow the user to log in. And then there is a phrase after that second chunk that says receiving from the first system at the second system an identifier associated with the user. And this phrase really demonstrates how identification through user authentication of one system can be accepted as proper user authentication through the other system. And the last chunk of the claim says creating a user account for the user of the second system based at least in part on the receiver identifier associated with the user after triggering the single sign-on operation, but before generating at the second system a response for accessing the protected resource wherein the created user account supports single sign-on operations between the first system and the second system on behalf of the user. Okay, so that was a really long last chunk, but basically it outlines how a new user account is created based on the information from the user's other system once they have authentication from the other system, and how a single account on a certain system allows access to protected resources on both of the systems. So after going through this patent, I really do believe that Groupon infringes upon this patent and allows users to sign up or sign in to their account via Facebook. However, I feel that there are also very many other companies and websites out there that have this feature as well, and although I'm not familiar with whether or not these companies have actually bought a patent license to do so legally, I feel like IBM definitely has a lot more companies out there to target after Groupon.